There is a corner of the last frontier that will catch you by surprise. A gem hidden in plain sight in the heart of the Kenai Peninsula. Coming here was our Hail Mary, our last-ditch attempt to find a land ablaze in autumn color. And here, we strike gold. Come along and let us introduce you to the Skilak Lake region, an area that has captured our hearts and should absolutely be on your bucket list. We will show you 2 incredible hikes that end in sweeping panoramas, as well as 3 campgrounds with views that will leave you spellbound. Dive in as we learn about the volcanoes raining in the distance and what on earth happened here. And finally, prepare to be blown away by one of the most striking natural spectacles we have witnessed in 4 years on the road. By pure luck, we are at the right place at the right time, and now you get to witness it as well. Come join us for our final fall adventure along the tucked-away path of Skilak Lake Road. Here we are on Alaska's Kenai Peninsula, and here is the Skilak Wildlife Recreation Area. Skilak Lake Road breaks off from the Sterling Highway to etch its way through the area, and oh, the treasures that dot this route. We begin at Hidden Lake Campground. For RV travelers, it doesn't get much better than this. Your tiny home parked in that perfect spot, doors open to a beautiful day and an even more beautiful season. Hidden Lake Campground has 44 spots, all non-electric, 24 of which are reservable online. The rest are first come, first serve. To give you a sense of how busy it can get here in the summertime, there is even an overflow parking lot for self-contained RVs. Right now, it's just us and a few other RVs on the upper loop. Water is available, though you have to put in a little elbow grease to get it. Hand pumps are stationed throughout the facility. There are toilets throughout the campground, though we would argue that our bathroom boasts the best views of them all. Day-use pavilions sit alongside the water's edge, ready for barbecues and birthday parties. And a boat ramp provides access to the lake, where anglers can try their hand at catching trout, dolly varden, and salmon. Hidden Lake is one of many smaller lakes and ponds that scatter across the slopes surrounding the mother of this region, Skilak Lake. You've got to understand, autumn days like this are a fleeting gift. Who knows how long the leaves will hold on and how long we'll have sunny days like this. So we are going to take advantage and soak it all up while we can. So we're going to head out to Bear Mountain Trail. We hear it's really strenuous, but really short and really beautiful at the top. So we're going to leave our Bobby bus here at Hidden Lake and check out this hike. See how it looks up there, especially with these amazing fall colors. The Bear Mountain Trailhead is about a 10-minute, 3-mile drive from Hidden Lake Campground. After such a rainy summer and fall in South Central Alaska, we are just delighted by these blue sky days. So we're here at the trailhead. The drive over here was amazingly beautiful. The colors are just bursting right now. We feel so lucky that we caught this because it has been rain. So to get a couple days of sunlight with these colors is super special, super lucky. So now we're gonna give this trail a whirl, see what we're in for. Right across from the trailhead sits Rock Lake, a little vignette of natural beauty in its own right. So we got a great description of the trail right here. It says Bear Mountain Trail is short and gains elevation quickly. The trail passes through spruce forest at its beginning, but soon opens up to scattered alder patches. The trail ends at a rocky outcropping. That's good that it gains elevation that quickly. That means we'll get some good exercise because it is cold. And there's nothing like a good trail to get your blood pumping and warm you up. Bear Mountain Trail is 1.6 miles long there and back with 518 feet of elevation gain. It ends at a lookout that we hear is pretty spectacular. If this little glimpse is any indication, we are indeed in for a treat at the top. So we just came around a curve in the path, looked out to our left, and oh my gosh, volcano action across the Cook Inlet. So Jose is ready in action with the telephoto so we can get a really nice clip of what we are seeing so that you can see it as well. Sometimes nature cooperates to let you get that perfect shot, and sometimes you need a little help from your friends. Hello, Mount Redoubt. You know that a natural feature is impressive when it makes the lofty peaks around it look like foothills. Redoubt is a stratovolcano, alive and active. In episode 26, we learned about the geology of this region, and we speculated that there must be volcanoes lurking somewhere in the distance on the other side of the Cook Inlet Basin. And sure enough, Redoubt commands the sky, soaring right from sea level to 10,197 feet. But the question is, does it stand alone?
Whoa! Beautiful view. Check this out. And we're not even at the top yet.
So the trail description didn't lie. We're not even to the top, and already the views are sweeping. Skilak Lake reaches out across the base of every vista in almost every direction. We can't wait to stay at the campgrounds right along its edge. And well, hello there again. This is Iliamna, yet another stratovolcano gracing the horizon. If we have already seen 2 volcanoes in one short jaunt up the mountainside, that must mean that there is a wider story going on here. To be continued. Okay, so now we're almost at the top, and they weren't lying. It is a pretty steep trail that doesn't really give you much time to rest, but the views make it worth it. It's incredible. I think we're near the top. They weren't lying. As these photographs show, the views from the top of Bear Mountain are incredible. From here, we can see all of Skilak Lake, from its birthplace near the range to its end far out in the Kenai lowlands. We can see where the braided Skilak River flows into Skilak Lake. If we could follow that river back just a little ways into the range, we would find the toe of Skilak Glacier, itself fed by the vast Harding icefield, who lurks just beyond those mountains. It's a lot to take in, but soak it up we do. Seeing this view of Skilak Lake stretched out before us makes us all the more anxious and excited about our next stop, a campground tucked along its edge with that view of Redoubt dominating the horizon. If only we knew what surprise tonight has in store for us. Today, we venture farther down Skilak Lake Road. Today is all about the journey, not the destination. Because honestly, right now, this road is our destination. This 2-lane gravel road once formed part of the early Sterling Highway. Now, its sole purpose is to provide access to the Skilak Wildlife Recreation Area, a region abounding in biodiversity. Forest habitat dominates this region, accounting for 95% of the area's vegetative cover. Spruce, aspen, birch, and cottonwood mix and weave to form a marbled blanket across the land. Shrubs, sedges, and reed grasses appear along streams, lake edges, and meadows. These forests are home to black and brown bears, moose, lynx, and red fox, to name a few. This area is part of the wider Kenai National Wildlife Refuge, which hosts 150 species of birds, accounting for 32% of all identified bird species in Alaska. 76 of them have been recorded right here in the Skilak area. We begin to see why this region was named Skilak Wildlife Recreation Area. As we near our destination, we come across a striking change. What happened here? The drive from Hidden Lake to our destination is about 7.5 miles, and every inch of it is framed in vivid color. It is the first week of October, and boy, was that the right time to come here. We are now tucked right along the edge of Skilak Lake. 2 campgrounds were developed along the water's edge. This is Upper Skilak Campground. Just like Hidden Lake, the campground is bathed in beauty and nearly empty. Upper Skilak is first come, first serve, with 26 sites, all non-electric, and plenty of space for big rigs like ours. Our bobby bus is 35 feet long, by the way, but the campground can accommodate systems up to 60 feet. There are fire pits, toilets, hand water pumps, and, of course, a boat launch. We just arrived at our camp spot, and I was expecting beauty, but I was not expecting this. Check this out. Check how close we are to the water, and check out what we can see on the other side of the water. You have got to be joking. Hello again, Mount Redoubt. As the crow flies, Redoubt is about 82 miles away. Even from such a distance, it dominates the horizon. Redoubt has erupted 4 times in the last 120 years, the most recent being in 2009. Its 1989 eruption sent a plume of ash 45,000 feet into the air, which then settled to blanket an area over 7,000 square miles. Redoubt does not stand alone. In fact, the family this volcano belongs to is far greater than you might imagine. In episode 26, we learned how volcanoes often result when one tectonic plate slides under another. Seawater in the subducting plate lowers the melting point of overlying rock, producing magma and then volcanoes. Alaska is home to a whole arc of volcanoes that punch through the earth where the Pacific plate subducts beneath the North American plate. Redoubt and Iliamna are both part of that arc, but it doesn't stop there. The Pacific Ring of Fire is a trend of volcanoes and seismic activity that circle the Pacific Ocean, caused by a series of plate boundaries just like the one at Alaska's doorstep. Our journey from Alaska to Argentina will brush up against the Ring of Fire many times, bringing us face to face with many brothers and sisters of Redoubt, who, by the way, is about to combine forces with the sky to put on one of the most vivid sunsets we have ever seen. We now call the shores of Skilak Lake home, at least for a little while. Of all the natural features of the Kenai Peninsula, a few stand out, even visible from space. Skilak is one of them. The mighty Kenai River flows into the lake before continuing its way to the Cook Inlet. The lake is also fed by Skilak Glacier, which is one of the most prominent glaciers fed by the Harding Icefield. This section of land jutting into Skilak Lake has an interesting story to tell, one that ties into the subject of plant succession. All the trees here are less than 30 years old, and for a very particular reason. In 1996, the Hidden Creek Fire burned this entire section of land just east of the campground, encompassing 5,161 acres. Since then, the land has been reestablishing its vegetative cover, one plant community after the next. We are actually about to hike right into the heart of the burn area, and we wonder, after 27 years, will we still see any signs of the fire? What will it look like to hike through an ecosystem in the process of rebuilding itself? Vista Trail starts right at Upper Skilak Campground, not 100 yards from our campsite actually. The trail is 3.5 miles there and back with a 1,279-foot elevation gain. In essence, there will be a whole lot of up. We start seeing these bright red berries that look delicious. But we don't want to end up a statistic today, so we won't be trying them. Unless you are 100% sure that something is edible, it's best to steer clear. We are very curious about them, though. It's interesting to see the mixture of grasses, shrubs, and sparse groves of young trees up here. We wonder, before the fire came through, did a mature forest stand here? That's a very different type of habitat, so what species lived here then that no longer do now? And vice versa. What species couldn't live here before the fire and now have a chance to thrive? We now enter slightly thicker forest and come across something unexpected. These trees are obviously burned, but they can't be from the 1996 fire, can they? Surely after 27 years, trees killed in that fire would have decomposed long ago, right? This is a mystery we will have to come back to. Vista Trail is a long slog, but it lives up to its name. We aren't even at the top yet, and the views are incredible. We started late and the light is changing, but that brings a magic of its own as alpenglow begins to paint the mountains. We're in the final push now in what is definitely the steepest part of the trail. A pair of trekking poles is your friend in spots like this. Of course, we didn't bring ours today, but slow and steady does it. That was the last hurdle before coming out on top and seeing what awaits us at the end of Vista Trail. Well, we could happily spend all of our time parked at that incredible site on Upper Skilak. But curiosity calls us on and we have more to explore. We are headed to the second campground on the lake, a 20-minute drive away. Our route leads back onto Skilak Lake Road, which is still holding fast to its colors. Although, we are not 5 minutes down the road when we begin to see something striking. An almost apocalyptic scene stretching as far as we can see. We know we just have to pull over, because here is where a couple lingering questions will finally be answered. In 2019, lightning sparked the Swan Lake forest fire. It burned for 146 days and in the end swept across 167,000 acres. One edge of it crept into the forest east of the upper campground, and that may be what we saw there. Wildfires are a natural occurrence, and in many ecosystems, they play a vital role in maintaining forest health. They clear out dead vegetation, promote nutrient recycling, and even help some species germinate. The tricky thing is when fires occur too frequently or burn so out of control that they threaten lives and property. It is a delicate task, understanding the role fire plays in nature and also understanding how our activities can tip the balance. The stretch of road between the upper and lower campgrounds tells this story of fire. You see its effects all around and also how the land recovers in stages. Before we know it, we are here at Lower Skilak Campground. This one feels more open, a little less tree cover, and a little more sky, which our solar panels certainly appreciate. Just like the upper campground, many campsites here tuck right up against the water's edge, which in the life of an RVer is something that really cannot be beat. Lower Skilak Campground is small. Nestled along a little alcove, it has 14 non-electric campsites, water, toilets, and a boat launch. And it's free. The sky and views from here are expansive. In fact, we'll just let you take it in and soak up this view. Now, we never imagined lightning would strike twice, and that we would be blessed with another unbelievable sunset. But apparently, here at Skilak Lake, heart-stopping sunsets are a regular occurrence. Our time in the Skilak area is almost up. Every night, the cold grows deeper and deeper. We feel we are right at the edge of a precipice the moment autumn shifts to winter. We can't see it yet, but we can feel it. Before we leave the area, we decide to return to the very beginning, to Hidden Lake, where our whole Skilak adventure started. The only thing that could make this adventure even better is sharing it with a good friend. Last winter in Seward, we took a ski lesson with the Nordic Ski Club. That was the day that we met Mark, and since then, we have become dear friends. As we enjoy a chilly autumn evening together, none of us are expecting what is about to happen in the wee hours of the morning. We cannot believe it, but we are here to witness the very first snow. A light dusting blankets the bus and the campground, bidding us welcome to the new season. But what is more spectacular than anything is the contrast of the fresh snow against the still blazing colors of autumn. This is one of the most unique natural spectacles we have witnessed in 4 years on the road. Maybe it's the feeling of knowing that winter is here, but we also feel inspired to make one last effort to fill our coffers. We try our hand at fishing lakeside, though we don't have the right gear or a boat. The boat is key. We see many locals going out into the lake, no doubt to the spots where the fishing is good. Regardless, it's a nice little moment to spend together here at the end of our Alaskan autumn. It doesn't last long. With each passing hour, the snow melts away, leaving behind just a deep chill in the air. Winter is here. We can feel it, and it seems the forest and all her critters can feel it too. A little neighbor arrives at our campsite in its own little mad dash to finish filling the coffers before the days when the snow will not melt away, but instead will pile deeper and deeper, and the forest will slip into a slumber. While we are unlucky in filling our coffers with more fish, we did just learn something that answered one of our lingering questions from our time here in the Skilak area. So our friend Mark told us that the berries we were seeing the other day on Vista Trail are actually high bush cranberries that make an excellent jam that he's going to show us how to make. So we're going to forage a little bit here, but we have to be careful because there are bears that are eating these berries as well. We just saw them and they actually came into our campsite last night. So we got all our bear stuff ready to go and we're going to go pick a couple berries. So this warning is saying that on August 26th, a sow and her 2 cubs charged hikers on the cliffs nearby, and that might be that same sow and cubs that we've been seeing hanging around. So yeah, you gotta be really careful and bear aware when you come to spots like this, especially at this time of year when they're really trying to fatten up before going to sleep for a while.
Oh yeah, they're sour. Very sour. We need a gallon at least of this to make some jam. So it's gonna take a while.
So this is as much as we got here at Hidden Creek Trail. It's kind of thin here, and we saw that mama bear not too far. So we're gonna go back to Vista Trail where we saw a ton of them, like yesterday, the day before, and keep going. Sure enough, not too far down the road, we see Mama and her cubs chowing down on high bush cranberries. We are happy we're moving on, not just for safety, but it's important to give them their space at this important time. Besides, the picking is great on Vista Trail. We hit the jackpot! Here on Vista Trail, we found the jackpot. There are so many berries here. Check this out. Already so much more than the other trail. So, here we go. The berries are much more prolific here, and we wonder if it has to do with the Hidden Creek fire. This area has not yet had time to develop mature forests again. Instead, we walk among thickets of shrubs and barely burgeoning groves of deciduous trees. Perhaps all that extra sunshine is just what the cranberries need to thrive. We stay alert and bear aware. By the way, you may have noticed that we always wear a bear bell on our hikes. A bear bell is an absolute must when hiking in Alaska. Bears don't prey on people. In fact, we scare them more than they scare us. But a surprised bear can feel threatened. So the bell alerts them to your presence, giving them a chance to avoid you, and thus helps prevent encounters. We made out like bandits. We got 2 gallons. With this, we should be able to make a good bit of jam. Vámonos. Oh wow, the color of the water. With the arrival of the first snow, the message has come through loud and clear. Winter is here, and it's time for us to go. We pack up our little home and hit the road once more. But to where?
The perfect summer is over in a flash and you're on your way. My mind says yes, you've been here for quite some time. But my heart tells me you should stay a little while.
Well, by now, dear friends, it is clear to you that Alaska has captured our hearts in a way we never saw coming. And so we have decided we're just not ready to leave quite yet. We have one more round in us, and so we are staying for another Alaskan winter. With every inch of this drive, we edge our way closer to the place that has been home here in the last frontier. The town that took us in once and with arms wide open is welcoming us in again. Some folks in our world think this is a sign that we will never leave Alaska, that in a poetic twist, the start of the journey became the end. Is that so? And what new adventures does this winter in particular have in store? Well, you'll just have to wait until next time on Art We There Yet?
Are we at the end or are we at the start? 129 beats per minute from my heart. Anywhere we go is where I long to roam. Night or day, I'm taking you all the way. 'Cause my heart screams, let me carry you home. Bright lights and colors, love is for the ones who dare to wait. No use in running when all I really want is to make you stay. My mind says yes, you've been here for quite some time. But my heart tells me you should stay a little while. Are we at the end or are we at the start? 129 beats per minute from my heart. Anywhere we go is where I long to roam. Night or day, I'm taking you all the way. 'Cause my heart screams, let me carry you home.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a like.
Subscribe to our channel.
Send us a comment below. And for exclusive content and a behind-the-scenes view of the Art We There Yet journey,
Join us on Patreon.
see you over on Patreon.